What's going down, ladies and gentlemen? Your boy Fearless here, and my guy Brian. He's on the ones and twos. Give me a second. He's just trying to hold on. Me mute myself and all that good stuff. Sorry it took us so long to get on, man. We're running about a few minutes behind. Sorry about that. So with this, we use StreamYard to as our platform to stream everything, and the way that StreamYard is doing it right now is that you have to pick and choose whether you want landscape or what's the other one?
Horizontal.
Horizontal or whatever. So like on my computer screen, it has horizontal. No. Then it has like the landscape. Excuse me, vertical.
Yep.
Whatever. So it has both of them, and then I can hide one so I can see what you guys see. Which I mean, I guess is kind of cool too, or whatever. Person,
Yeah,
that was horrible.
Well, I can expand this out here. Hold on a second.
Yeah, so let's see.
Well, where'd I go?
Yeah, you're gone, sir.
Yeah, this is weird.
Yeah, let's what's the old phrase? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
So let's go back to what we were doing before, kind sir. There you go. And here, let's make it a little smaller. All right, perfect. So what's going on, everybody? Before we get started, how was your week? What are you reading? How did you feel about last week's conversation that we have? Oh my God, Mr. Fearless, I'm reading a lot of books. We had a great time last week. Or whatever. So I appreciate that very much. We're gonna keep doing this no matter what. So you fuckers might as well pull up a seat. I'm just saying. What about you, Brian? What books are you reading? How's your week been? Dad, how did you feel about last week? Go ahead, sir.
Week has been progressing. I'm still on 10x is better than 2x because I'm kind of looking for a nonfiction book to supplement that too. Or 10x is easier than 2x, and so I'm almost done with that. I'm about to go back.
Joshua?
I'm about to go back to reading Traction. Traction is an interesting book about organizational thinking and how to
put it up on the screen.
All right, let me pull it up here.
Please do.
I got a billion tabs open, so you got.
All right. Okay.
So I'll put up both of them here. And 10x is easier than 2x. All right, so Traction is kind of a book about how to look at your business, how to structure it so that you can advance the way that you want to advance. And really it's just about taking a hard look at how you do business in terms of getting your staff to do the things that you need them to do and making decisions on that level. So I'll put that up on the screen first.
Okay. Yeah, no, please do. I just finished the book. I will put it up right quick so you guys can kind of see what I've also been into. And so I just finished a book called The Academic Affair. It's a nonfiction. No, excuse me. It's a fictional, kind of like a love story type thing, or whatever. Like I told you guys before, I personally love to read, and I like reading anything that's kind of fun. That's hold on, let me find it. Here we go. Bam, got it. Can you guys see that? That's what I'm reading. That's why I just finished reading just now, An Academic Affair. I thought it was pretty good. I don't think I gave it a 4.3, which is it's a 4.0 on Goodreads. I think I gave it a 3.8. I gave it a 3.8, I think. But it was cool though. Joshua, what are you reading, kind sir? What are you reading? The book that I'm reading right now, let me show you. Hold on one second. Is Thomas Perry Pro. This is what I'm reading next. This book is called Pro Bono. Um, I don't know why. I'm just kind of called to read it. So this is what I'm reading next.
All right, and I'm putting mine up on the screen here.
Yeah. So I'll finish this. I'll start this in a day or two and knock it out fairly quickly. I know me. So
I got mine here. So what I'm on right now, the one I'm trying to finish up this week, and normally I'm a little bit faster with reading some of this stuff, but I'm kind of taking my time with this one and making notes and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is called 10X is Easier Than 2X by Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy. This is the concept of the idea that it's easier to 10X your vision than it is to 2X your vision, because a 10X requires you to make a fundamental change to yourself, and it gives you bigger, more audacious, and more reachable goals, where a 2X it kind of limits your thinking and traps you into a more narrow way of thinking, and it requires change, but there's not as much incentive to change because the output you're getting isn't much bigger than what you're currently getting, if that makes sense. And
okay. Yeah, you know what? Actually, that does make sense, because if you remember when I did my 100 Days, 100 Nights, so like that was something that was just kind of like, dude, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I put it out there. Like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do, and then you have to stick with it. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was tired by like day 15, and I'm like, damn, bro, I got 85 more of these things to go.
Right.
So yeah, you're very much right though. Doing something at 10x is way easier. To me, it's easier to do it at 10x than at 2, because 2 doesn't really require any change.
Right.
10x, to go from making no videos at all to doing it for 100 days, like at the same exact time, at the same exact hour, for an hour and a half, new material every single night. Man, show me somebody doing that right now.
Right.
Show me anybody doing that right now.
It requires a big fundamental change in your behaviors and everything.
It does.
And it actually, once you scale up, like the example they were talking about is how Michelangelo was basically 10xing every piece. Like every time he would work on a piece, it was 10x. It was more effort, more audacious. And every time he leveled up, he ended up being able to even perform at a higher level because he was taking bigger swings. And so that's what this book is about. And then I'm gonna stop. And then I got one more.
Hold on one second. Let's call out. Hey, I see some of y'all coming in here right now. What books are you guys reading right now?
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know, because here's the thing. I'm always looking for a new book. We had a gender fluid Liberty Twitcher told me about this book right here. It's called Breakneck: China's Quest to Engineer the Future, which is right here. I bought that based on their recommendation. And I'm looking at Joshua.
The Big Manifesto.
I think Big Manifesto. I like Michael Porter. I have his other book, Book Solid or Book Me. It's a book that he came out with. Really good book. He's the guy who said that you should have several different elevator pitches. One that's like a 5-minute, one that's like a 1 second, not 1 second, but like 1 minute. One, you got 15 seconds to get my attention. So that's the guy who wrote that. Start at the end. I want to look at that one by what's this, Bingham? I like that. I might get that.
So this one is another one. This one actually comes recommended by Dan Sullivan, who wrote the other book. But Traction, and it's about getting a grip on your business, and it really forces you to think about systems and how you manage your staff and a lot of higher level stuff that allows you to grow your business. And there's a whole upsell system that they sell with this. So this leads into a consulting thing. Typically, I'm leery about these kind of books that lead into consulting pitches, but the information in this book is rock solid. and it's actionable in and of itself. And for me, when I'm looking at the quality of a business or marketing book, for me, it's got to be actionable. Actionable means everything. If it's not actionable, if I cannot utilize this information to take a step forward, then theory is great. Theory is wonderful and everything, but as a business owner, I need application.
Okay.
And a lot of times we find, especially in the business space, you're getting a lot of theory crafting and people talking about their theories, but they don't necessarily apply those theories to anything measurable. And it doesn't really benefit the reader. It's kind of a waste of time. You're just getting somebody's theory. Sometimes if the theory is tight enough, or if there's enough, you can take action on it if they're clear enough. But oftentimes I like books that are actionable. Like I want a book that says, do this for this outcome.
Right. You kind of talking about like, what's that one dude who wrote that book, Make $1 Million Weekend?
Yeah.
Like I have that one in my room, and everything that he talked about was just real simple, actionable steps. Like, can you get $1 from people? Just say, hey, can you cash at me $1? Type stuff or whatever. You know what I mean? And to me, that sounds so juvenile and so like what? But there's method in that,
right?
And just asking for something so simple that it's like, okay. And I think that once you get used to doing that, like I was talking to a friend of mine that she's organized. So there's a person that I know who loves to organize. I mean, doesn't organize, loves to organize. And what is that? Like she likes to do the organization, cleaning, putting things where it needs to go, whatever. And I tell her all the time, there's a whole entire people out here that will pay you big money to do that. Well, she's just starting off, so she's like, I don't really know what to charge. I'm like, okay, well, just charge something, but charge something that's reasonable, that's reasonable to you,
right?
Based on the work that you're doing, or relative to the work that you're doing. Even if you're lowballing, so what? You just need to get into the habit of asking for what you want,
right?
Like, and that's it.
Because you can always take things away. So if you give a price that's too high and they push back and say, hey, this is too much, you can always say, well, what if I just do this?
There you go. There you go. And I wrote up a whole entire thing of like if easy, medium, and hard. So for easy, the job is like 0 to 3 hours. The other one is 3 to 6 hours. The other one 6 to 12 hours. And each one has its own price point. And then I'm like, if you want to do, if it's just per project, again, how long is that going to be? And then you can show them what your price points are, and then they can choose it. Same thing at the if you go to the car washes, some of them they hand you or show you on a laminated piece of paper, which one do you want, 1, 2, or 3?
Right.
And then you're like, oh, I'll take the third one, which is the most expensive. They'll do all the little bells and whistles for you. Cool. That's all you need to do sometimes. So you don't have to talk. Just show them my prices are there. And then we can always talk about what you need, what you don't. But my prices are pretty standard.
Well, and if you're doing the rule of 3, typically a person's always going to pick the middle option. There's going to be most people are going to pick the middle option. There's going to be people that absolutely pick the high option, and there's going to be people that pick the lower option. But most of your average people are going to fall right in the middle and pick that middle option.
And that's all it is, man.
Yep.
And if it's anything more, and I think like the other one was, and then I mean because you always want 2 or 3, and that's it. You don't want anything more than that. Now you could say I have a diamond package that I do not talk about, that's not on here. That's for people that want to bring me on as a permanent fixture, that this is what I do. Now that one costs a whole lot more than these other ones or whatever, but at that point I am your personal organizer, and that's what I do once a week. Come in, make sure everything's good, What do you need? What are you missing? This, that, and the other. Matter of fact, I'm a center of that. Thank you. Sorry about that.
And the thing is, y'all, I mean, today's episode is about misinformation. I've done live streams about misinformation in the marketing space and how there's a lot of misinformation that actually hits business owners, specifically. And I'll give you an example. Like, you log on to TikTok. I am growing a TikTok channel for talking about comic books and whatnot. And you go on there and I open up my TikTok feed and it's all these people talking about, well, and if you want the algorithm to do this, or you want to grow your channel, you need to do this specific thing. And typically this specific thing involves you leaving a comment on their post and leaving a like on their post. And that's magically supposed to help your engagement. Well, really what it does is helps their engagement. They're baiting you in so that you can engage on their post. Nobody knows how the algorithm works. Even the engineers at TikTok who designed the algorithm, they know their component of the algorithm. They don't know that entire thing. That's proprietary information. Not one person knows how that entire TikTok algorithm works. And when people get on there and tell you that they know how it works, they really don't. And I'm speaking as somebody, I've actually sat down from cover to cover and read the SEO books. Like last one, when SEO 2016 dropped, I had it and I was reading it the day it dropped. Search engine optimization. I know how this stuff works. And a lot of times people have their best guess to what works, but they'll say it like it's knowledge. They'll say it like it's rock solid. And meanwhile, you encounter experts that are like, yeah, I'm not quite sure about that. Here's the thing. And we talk about Dunning-Kruger effect. I think we've discussed it here.
Bring it up again, though.
With the Dunning-Kruger effect, excuse me, basically, Dunning-Kruger basically says that the less somebody knows, the more they tend to overestimate their knowledge on something. And so that's why you don't find like climate experts arguing on Facebook about global warming. You don't find.
You okay, my guy?
Yeah, choked on
God
something.
damn. Yeah, take a break. Take a break, kind sir. God damn. Take a break.
But anyway, what Dunning-Kruger basically says is the least informed are typically the most confident in their knowledge, right? And so you don't find experts necessarily arguing, because here's the thing. The more you know, the more you realize that you don't know about something. And so a lot of times if somebody has expertise in the area, they undersell their actual working knowledge of it because they know all the stuff that they don't know about that thing. And so when we look at this stuff and we look how people operate on social media, interact on social media, the most confident TikTokers are the ones that know the absolute least about how algorithms work. They are very confident in telling other people, this is how you blow up on TikTok. And a lot of times it's, they had like a video that blew up or something along those lines. And they think that that is enough to give them expertise. Well, they're not really sure of the mechanism that caused that video to blow up one way or the other. They just knew that they had a very successful video pop off. And so that's really what it is. People that don't have the knowledge overestimate their intelligence. People that do have the expertise underestimate their value, their expertise. You know, and the way they put it is from the journey from ranked beginner to kind of to novice to beginner, that gap between novice and beginner, that's like maybe a drive from Houston to Dallas, right? It's long, but it's not too terribly long, right? From beginner to kind of intermediate, that's from like Houston to France. That's like a drive from Houston to France. From intermediate to advanced, we're talking Houston to Beijing, China, right? And then from advanced to expertise, that's like Houston to like Jupiter.
Okay.
And so it compounds, the knowledge compounds. And typically the people that are higher on that level, either they're not going to be in there arguing with people, or they're going to feel like, I don't know enough to talk about this thing intelligently.
Yep.
Even though their knowledge is far advanced. And for y'all listening, for those that are listening, when you're learning something, it's a very natural phase to go through a process of where you feel like you don't know shit, because that's part of the learning process, because you're learning what the edges of your actual knowledge are and where they sit and where they reside. And so
is that where that's what I usually teach people, that's where you are doing one or two things. You're keeping your mouth shut and you're asking questions.
Right.
That's all you need to do. Keep your mouth shut and ask questions. That's all. That's it. Sit. Go ahead.
And so that's kind of where it sits. And so on social media, typically social media is a giant confirmation bias machine.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can confirm any bad thinking that you already have. You can find a way to validate it online.
And using ChatGPT as well.
And using ChatGPT
to do that as well. Yeah.
Because the danger about ChatGPT, and Fearless and I actually did this on an episode a couple months ago. ChatGPT is prone to agree with you. It is programmed to almost agree with you in most cases. If you're going to try to use that as some kind of source, one, I wouldn't advise using that as your only source of information. You need to go verify everything ChatGPT tells you. You need to go look it up and make sure that it's if you're trying to establish a factual basis. But two, you have to literally prompt ChatGPT to stop agreeing with you.
And we do that.
Yeah.
Like Brian and I do that like we do that all the time.
Because what'll happen is it wants you to continue to use it. It's just like social media. Like social media wants you to continue to use it. So more times than not, in your feed, you're going to either get things that you agree with or things that you vehemently disagree with. You're not going to find anything in the middle, because social media is trying to incentivize you to stay on platform, and staying on platform means engaging. And more times than not, people engage with things that they don't agree with. They argue. That's engagement. The longer you're on platform, the more ads I can show you. So I'm going to show you things that either you agree with and like and you're interested in, or things that you vehemently disagree with. Those are the two lanes. And so more times than not, if you're looking for it on social media, you're going to find it. If you're looking for something, if you say something that's not factual, but then you go look to support that non-factual thing, you're going to find it online somewhere. You're going to find a corner of social media that says the same thing that you're saying. And that's what we're talking about, the danger of misinformation. I know, from a marketing standpoint, I did a video probably about a year and a half ago. And I think I talked to you about this. I think we did this one where the guy is the guru. He's one of them gurus, one of the financial gurus that will have you in federal custody. He's a financial guru that will absolutely, his advice will have you in federal custody sooner rather than later. And he was up there talking about, would you rather have $2 million liquid or a 850 credit score?
What?
Yeah. He's like, would you rather have $2 million of liquid cash, or would you have an 850 credit score?
I would take the liquid cash.
And that's exactly what I said.
Every day of the week.
And the girl he was walking was like, I would take the million. And he tried to make her look dumb. I would take the 850 credit score, because with 850 credit score, I can go out and get this line of credit and get this line of credit and get this line of credit. And from a business owner standpoint, I'm sitting there like, and every line of credit that you're taking, you're paying interest on everything that you take out. So the money you're borrowing, you're paying a premium on already, as opposed to give me the $2 million. Give me $2 million and I will just go make magic happen.
Well, basically what it is that if you give me $2 million, I can go get a CD and put a crap ton of that money in the CD, and then I can actually use that CD and borrow against it. And not even borrow against it. Yeah. I can actually open up a line of credit where I don't even have to pay the taxes on that money. Anytime that you have to pay the taxes on whatever loan they give you, you have to pay taxes on that. So if they give you a $250,000 loan, you pay taxes on that, not taxes, but interest on that $250,000 loan. Whereas if you have a $250,000 open line of credit, you don't have to pay taxes on that. So all that money comes out and that's yours. That's how Elon Musk gets away with doing this and the other, because he can just trade one of those stocks that he has to the bank, and he don't give a shit whether it actually comes out or not. But that's free income for him that he can actually use willy-nilly however he wants to. Now,
Right.
when he pays it back, which he will, again, it's not taxable, so he doesn't even have to worry about that. At 850, I have an 830 credit score right now, dead ass, no joke. 830, and I'm not talking about on Credit Karma. I'm talking about on my FICO, which you have to actually pay for that one. So it shows you what your credit is in real time. My
Mhm.
credit score is between 820 and 830 right
Right.
now. I'd take you could trash my shit and give me $2 million, and my lifestyle would not change whatsoever.
Let me put this up on screen, Fearless, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about.
Please.
Because this is
In 1 second, as you do that, Joshua, so let me ask you, are you reading all of these books all at one time? Because a lot of these books I've actually read myself or whatever. I'm just asking in general, are you reading all of these or have you just read them?
are these recommendations. If they're recommendations, that's dope. We'll take it.
Yeah,
But
for sure. He said juggling. Okay. I'm just asking because okay, so what is this?
so
Okay.
this is the argument that I've seen. And sometimes people will utilize this as they call it a financial literacy test. And typically it's somebody
Oh,
that
what?
it's somebody that doesn't necessarily like a lot of this stuff is conditional.
Oh,
For
hold on.
$4,000 a week for life, depending on how long your life is. But $4,000 a week. So
Okay, so hold on. So there's 4 weeks in a year, so that's 16,000. That's $16,000 a month.
yeah.
Okay, and we're talking about for life. So okay, hold on. Let me break this out because I like doing shit like this. Okay, so let's say $2 million, and so let's divide that by 16,000.
It will take about 500 weeks for you to reach $2 million. And so how many years is 500 weeks?
500 weekaroos.
If I'm
Well,
not
it's
mistaken.
divided by 2. That's 9 years.
Yeah.
Because you divide that by 52 or whatever. So that's not it's about almost 10 years. Almost.
Right.
It's 9 years and 10 months. Whereas, and again, that money is gonna be out so hold on. So let's take that. So what would that actually be? So let's divide. Hold on. So that's 52. Okay, so hold on. Give me 1 second. So 52 times, let's say 10. It's 520 weeks. Okay. So 10. All right, so let's do 6. We'll do 16,000. Hold on. 16,000 times 520 weeks. Yeah. Yeah, I'd take that shit any day of the week, motherfucker. You just made $8 million within that time. And again, that's if you're still here within 9 years.
So which one are you taking?
I'm taking the C all day long.
See, for me,
All day long.
For me, the way I kind of approach it, I'm looking at the time value of money. And so I'm looking at how much is my dollar going to be worth in 10 years?
Okay.
And what can I do with $2 million today? What can I do with $2 million today in a moderately risky investment or a moderately, how could I grow $2 million today? Like if I had $2 million in cash right now, what could I invest it in today? that I wouldn't be able to necessarily do, with the 4,000, because the 4,000, it requires some accumulation. Or I could take $2 million today and invest it in something, and double or triple my investment. How long does it take me to double my investment with $2 million? And then how long does it take me to double that investment? So how long does it take me to turn that 2 million to 4 million? How long does it take me to turn that 4 million to 8 million and 8 million to 16 million, right? I'm looking at, I would, where I'm at right now in my life with a nonprofit I'm growing, with a business I'm partnered into, and then this marketing thing that I'm trying to launch, I think the $2 million would serve me a little bit better. But if I was in another place in my life, where I didn't have, health things to worry about, and how long the lifespan actually is, like if I was in my 20s, I would absolutely be the $4,000 a week for life. Because I could do the LeBron thing and invest, invest half of that into my health, into my body every single month. You know what I'm saying? And have the best dietitians, the best trainers, the best doctors on board and everything to make sure that I'm enhancing my lifespan as much as possible with all those resources that $4,000 a week would provide me. Right now, where I'm at right now, I'd probably take $2 million in cash. The thing I would not take over either one, over B and C, I'm not taking the 850 credit score.
No, not at all. No.
I'm not doing that.
No, because basically because B and C canceled the credit score thing out.
Right.
Because don't nobody give a shit. Listen, if you got cash, you're probably just going to pay for everything with the cash that you actually have. So you don't really need credit. Again, my credit right now is 820 right now. There's nothing that I could not buy at this present moment of time with my credit score. But because I don't have 2 million or whatever, I'm not going to go hit the thing and spend $200 and some thousand on this, that, and the other at this present moment of time. Now, here's another thing I wanted to kind of talk about too. If you were to take that $2 million and put that in, now you could probably put it in stocks, bonds, this, that, and the other, but let's just say that you were to put that in a CD, right? And let's say that CD at 5.5 points per year were to give you an extra $110,000. So divide that out by 12. It still comes out at $9,100. And again, that's just with that money staying exactly there. So it's not really, it's making money. But the biggest point, again, that it is, bro, because I'm not just looking at what it is today. I'm looking at where it's going to be a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. That 2 million, for the most part, is going to stay at 2 million. It'll go up a little bit, but not as much as you would if you were to take the 4,000, because the 4,000, you can, to me, it's the equivalent of if you were to make, if you were to put the $2 million like in an account and just let it gain interest. That interest, for the most part, is going to give you anywhere from $8,000 to $9,000 per month. That's what the interest is going to give you per month. If you are making $16,000 a year, a week, that's $16,000 per month, right? You can still take that you can keep 8,000 yourself if you wanted to. Put another 8,000 in some type of CD or something like that. Within another year or so, you're gonna not only hit that 2 million, but you're gonna far exceed it consistently or whatever. So for me, like I said, and not only that, but I'm also thinking about slow and steady. It's what's gonna win that horse. That's what's gonna win that race. So 2 million up front, I mean, it sounds good, but I've also made $16,000 per month, and I know exactly what that can do every month. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, but again, that's just That's my thing. I mean, so I think it also is going to be based on, like you said before, bro. I think a lot of that is going to be based on your lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, if you gave that to me, thank you, but I know exactly where I'm going to put the 2 million at. But for me, I'm more comfortable with the 4,000, per week. But here's another thing I would also state. Do I get to nepotize that money? Is that money coming to me and then it stops? Or can I leave the rest of it for my kid?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Because if I can leave the rest of it for him, then why not keep it at that? Because here's the thing. If one of your kids, you have 2 beautiful children, if one of them develop a cocaine habit, that $2 million is fucked.
Unless I put stipulations on the inheritance. The thing is, I'm biased because I said my wife did she was in the financial services business for like almost 15, 20 years. She'd been a licensed broker and all this other stuff. She'd sit there, I'll put this $2 million. Like, she had an entire stack of annuities already planned out, like how she was going to stack this $3 million. Right. When I asked her this, she's going to have all these annuities stacked up and all these other things stacked up that pay out incrementally over time.
Yeah, for sure.
And so she had it calculated out where it's like, yeah, well, I can make this $2 million generate more than $4,000 a week.
Mm-hmm.
The way she had it stacked out. And so I'm not the expert in that. So I'm not going to speak to what her expertise is.
Yeah, for sure.
She knows, she would know, because she ran it all the way down. So she's like, and this is exactly, I would do this, I would do this, I would do this, and I would do this. And then that way, that $2 million will generate more than $4,000 a week. Or, however, like 16, she did somewhere it's like $17,000 a month. I'm not the expert in that space. That's her knowledge. So me personally, I'm looking at the $2 million cash. I'm looking at, like, I already got some health stuff. I'm looking at, I have an investment vehicle that already just needs the money to go into it. I already have a portfolio that I know how to manage and stuff like that. So I'm like, I probably would take the $2 million in cash right now.
Okay.
But I could see $4 million a week. Like, I would just have to structure because here's what my worry is. Lifestyle creep.
Lifestyle what?
Lifestyle creep. So,
like, you mean creep, like lifestyle creep?
Yes, lifestyle creep. So I'm scared, and knowing me and knowing how things work, I get $4,000 a week for life, right? I instantly incrementally, I start living the lifestyle of somebody that makes $4,000 a week for life, as opposed to a lifestyle of somebody who doesn't make $4,000 a week for life. And so I adjust my lifestyle up to where it's devouring that $4,000 or most of that $4,000 every single week.
Gotcha.
And so I'm sitting there like, I'd rather not deal with that temptation, because that's what happens to a lot of these lottery winners, man. When they start taking these payments out, they're like, I want the full payment and I want them to pay out the whole thing. Well, then they adjust their life up so that every year they're spending almost every penny of that lottery payment. And then, look at the publisher clearinghouse people. They had that thing where it's like $5,000 a week for life, right? Imagine if you get $5,000 a week, you won that $5,000 a week for life thing, and then one day you find out Publisher Clearinghouse is going bankrupt, like it did. But now you already live in the life of somebody that makes $5,000 a week for life. How do you adjust back down from that? And so I'm looking at, for me personally, from a behavioral standpoint, just give me the cash. Let me pre-plan it for 20 years. How we're gonna make this $2 million double.
Okay. And
I'd rather do that than get acclimated to $4,000 a week.
Okay.
Every single week. Because if I got acclimated to just spending $2,000 a week, I'm screwed with $4,000 a week coming in.
No, okay. No, I got you on that. So I think that the reason why, and again, like I said before, I think that a lot of this is based on, I think that a lot of this conversation is based on your own personal experiences.
Exactly.
When I know what it feels like to be homeless.
Mhm.
So, and I always tell people that however you are when you're broke is how you're going to be when you have money.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So, however, think about that. However you are when you're broke is how you are when you have money. So, when I was homeless and I was sleeping in my car, and it was me and my kid, and he was shit, he wasn't even one, right? The one thing that I remember going through all that is I would go to what is that place? Jackson Street Bookstore.
Mhm.
And I would work at temp services. I would get money and I would take a small percentage of what I made and I would go there and I would go buy books. Right. That's what I did. So again, however you are when you got money or however you are when you're broke is what you're gonna be when you have money. So then when it got to the point where I was making 7,000, 10,000, 20,000, 15,000, $20,000 a month, you know what I was still doing? Buying books.
Yep.
I just bought more of them as opposed to going to, I would go to thrift stores and they have Omaha Thrift over in South Omaha. Man, they were letting you get books for like 11 cents. 11 cents. Man, I would come home with boxes of books. And they were great stuff too. And so that's always been my thing. Like this, I love to read.
Mhm.
So whether I had $1 million or I only had 1,000, you give me a book and a pen and a pad, give me a corner off by myself, and I'm cool. I
Right.
don't need a phone. I don't need any other gadgets and shit like that or whatever. So for me, that was my thing.
Right.
So again, I understand what it's like to be given or have $4,000 a week because I was making, like I said, 7,000 here, and then it went to like 10,000, then it went to 14, then it went to $20,000 a month or whatever, and I was still the same guy that I was when I was sleeping in my car.
Yep.
It was just that I went from having a couple books to like my house. My son was just telling me, Dad, it looks like we live in a library. That's
So
my point, son. So yeah, go ahead, man.
so I was, and there's interesting, and then we can get into the conversation. But I forgot who I was. It was some cat I was on YouTube, and he was sitting there talking about, and it struck with me because it made sense. He's like, if he won the lottery, how he would do it. He's like, I would take 10% of that money if I hit the lottery and got my lump sum. He's like, I would take 5 to 10% of that money. Well, I think he said less than that. It'd be like 1 to 2% of the money because we're talking about some ungodly amount of money. He's like, and that would be my dream cash to go out and spend it on whatever I wanted to, so I can get it all out of my system.
Yeah,
He's like, I would go out and buy the most expensive whatever that I've always been dreaming about
yeah,
and just use that money. And that would be my money to absolutely just splurge on all of this other stuff.
yeah,
And he was already in the real estate space. He's like, then I would just go out and buy an apartment complex with a chunk of it. And he's like, and then the rest of it will get put into investments. But he said it was important. The reason why he put that in there, he's like, if I hit the lotto, if I absolutely hit that lotto, the very first thing doing, I'm allocating a chunk of that money so I can go out there and just spend it as recklessly as possible. So it's all out of my system, so that I don't feel like I should be able to do that with the rest of the money. It's like, because a lot of lottery winners, they never get out of that phase. They have more
nope.
money than they know what to do with, and next thing you know, they're opening restaurants. They've never
Or
been
or
business,
or or
or
bookstores.
they've never been business owners a lot of times, and what happened is that's their first foray into business. It's some big money, some big thing that absolutely chews up money. I've done
Mhm.
marketing for business. I've done marketing for restaurants. I've been on the back end of the restaurant thing. I was going to be invested in one to a degree, from a marketing standpoint, and the back end of a restaurant, that is, every day is like a crapshoot. Like it's hard to figure out which ones are successful, because ones you think are successful really aren't, because the margins are so crazy and
Mhm.
anything. And so he was saying people get into these endeavors and they don't know what they're getting into, and they have no working knowledge of it. And they think, well, I just got enough money it'll just keep bailing this thing out. And eventually
Yeah.
that business is chewing through all of that lottery money and you're getting nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
then you're funding other people's dreams, goals, and aspirations too, because the reason why you're funding their dreams is because you technically didn't earn it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you see what I'm saying? So, another thing too that I did do that. What your friend was telling you about buying, just buying stuff aimlessly. I did that, and the biggest, I bought two purchases. Excuse me. There was two purchases that I bought that were for me, whatever. Besides shoes and books, I bought my dream car, which was my Tesla, and I bought my dream motorcycle, which was a 2012 Victory highball motorcycle. Right, those are the two things that I purchased that were the things that I actually wanted. Everything else was kind of like icing on the cake, but those two things were the actual cake itself. Now, there was a pair of shoes and oh yeah, I bought every pair of Jordans every retro pair of Jordans you can think of. I have them all. And so here's the thing. As a matter of fact, I use this thing as a bookmark. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I use this thing as a bookmark. I'm just saying, putting it out there. But so I have those. And so that's what I wanted. But there was one pair of shoes that I wanted since '94. And it was Charles Barkley's. Matter of fact, I'm going to show y'all these shoes. Give me a second. I want to show y'all these shoes because, hold on one second. Hold on. '94 Barkley's. Okay, here we go. I want to show these to y'all because I think if you've seen what I'm talking about, then you're like, oh, okay, we got you. Okay, hold on, here we go. Add to say, sure they are right here. You see them?
Yeah,
Oops,
I see.
Oops, give me a sec. Okay, here we go. Show them here. So these are the shoes that I actually wanted. Right? I've been wanting these shoes forever. Okay? Let me tell you what happened. I didn't get these shoes until 2024, last year. You want to know what happened to me? I grabbed these shoes. I grab them. I smell them. Like, oh my God, I finally got a pair. Right? Now we're talking about the black and purple with the white. These are just all black and triple OG black and purple, right? So I get them. And Brian, I'm like, oh my God, they smell good. They look even better in person. Dude, I'm about to rock the shit out of these. I put my foot in. I'm like, oh, okay. They fit and snug. My foot, the rest of my foot don't fit.
Oh, no.
The rest of my foot does not fit. And it was so anticlimactic because I'm like, I wanted these shoes for the last, 30 years? 30 years? Actually, over 30 years, I've been wanting these shoes. Think about this, y'all. Over 30 years, I've been wanting these shoes. Over 30. And I couldn't even fit them. I couldn't fit them then. I can't fit them now. So that's the thing that I love about being humbled on some shit that in your mind, you might be like, oh, this is what I want. This is what I want. But sometimes when you get it, it don't fit. It ain't your shit. So I can admire this beautiful shoe from a distance, but I cannot admire this beautiful shoe on my feet because they don't fit.
Yeah, for me, it was this before Ye went off the deep end, but it was the Red Octobers. Like I wanted them. Just as they had them.
Hold on. Let's look that up. Red October Shoes. Okay, hold on. Okay, and these are the yays.
Yeah, this is the Air Easy when he was with Nike. That was that collaboration.
Oh wait,
I wanted them.
these MFers are 90 something. They're not 90. They're $9,000.
Yep.
Is that real? Is that a true?
Yeah, because you go to StockX and you can get them for 7,000.
No, StockX they got them for 800.
See, I got them for 7,000. Let me pull up what I'm looking at.
So here we go.
But anyway, that would be my insane splurge, right? And
oh my god, I couldn't in a million years. There's not at all. So like if you had the money, you would buy these.
that would be one of my splurge items, like one of my.
That is insane.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. It would be one of my items that I would have on
Oh my god.
Lottery splurge. Like it would be a couple of very specific things. Because I'm not a big jewelry guy, but I like watches.
So do I.
And I would have probably have a chunky little watch. I am not Mr. Luxury car. I just like I like a nice car. And so I'm not Mr. Luxury cars. And so I'll buy a fully tuned out whatever. And so, but that would be it. But the thing I probably go nuts on is barbecuing stuff, like backyard kitchen with the highest end smoker that I could get my hands on. You know what I'm saying? You know, the backyard with the TV and all that other stuff in the backyard. So it's just where you could just kind of hang out. That's what I would spend money on. And so that would probably be my splurge item. But
Joshua says watch guy.
Yeah, yeah, watch guy. That's the only thing. Like I'm not flashy in any way, shape, or form, but that would probably be expensive kicks and maybe a nice watch. And that would be my big, huge splurge. I'm like, I came into some money a couple of years ago, and my splurge item, like this is gonna date me, but my big splurge item was buying myself a PS4. That was my big splurge. Like, oh, I bought myself a PS4 because it's something I didn't want to spend that money. I couldn't justify spending that kind of money on myself. In my mind, like there are more important things for me to spend that money on.
I got you. I mean, but you also got kids too, so
yeah,
which everything priorities.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now I get that. You know what's so funny though, dude? If you would have told me that we have extra PS4s around here, I would have just given you one.
Oh, word. That was
no joke. I have a PS4. I'm not even joking. 1, 2, 3. No, so in our house, I think we have 4 or 5 altogether. 3 in which weren't even being used. So we were just giving them away as gifts to people. As a matter of fact, I think we still got one downstairs in our basement.
See, and that's
what I'm just saying. Like my son doesn't play it, I don't play it, and I got my own in my room. So I got the 4 and 5 in my room. So yeah.
I might have talked to you about that because I'm looking at like I'm right now I'm torn between do I want to try for PS5? I'm really like I love playing video games, but I don't like paying for video game systems because there's something about the video game system. Like I'll for an accessory on a car or something, fine. For a camera, okay, and so I'm sitting there like, okay, do I want to get the PS5? Do I want to wait for the PS6? Do I want to get this?
The PS5? The PS6 is not coming out for quite a while.
Or do I want to wait until next year and get a Steam box, the Steam machine?
What's that?
So Steam is Steam is the online, like for video games, is for where gamers go online. It's a big store front where it basically has all most of the PS games, most of the Xbox games, except it's playing on a PC. So it has the PC version of all the games. Okay. And so Steam is actually coming out with their own, like they have the Steam, like the Steam Deck is the handheld device, but they're actually coming out with their own, basically it's a gaming PC in the form factor of a video game console. Okay. And so it gives you access to, I think they said last time was like 140,000 games in the Steam library. that you can buy and download.
Hmm.
And more times than not, all the stuff that's exclusive on PlayStation comes out for PC around the same time. If not, it might be a little bit delayed, you know. And Xbox, all their stuff is already pretty much on PC. And then Nintendo, I mean, if you have a PC, you can emulate Nintendo games if you have the ROM, which you didn't hear that from me.
Yeah.
But basically, do I wait? Do I get the PS5? Do I wait for the Steam machine where like literally I can get all the PC versions of all these games? I don't have to pay every single month to play online. And all I have to do is just tweak it and tweak the settings to make sure that I'm optimized for each game. Like there's a lot of different things I'm thinking of, but that's where I'm at right now with my video game system. Like,
Oh wow, okay.
But yeah, I've been playing on Steam, a couple of games on Steam on an old PC, and I like playing on Steam.
That's kind of tight.
Like I said, it's really a gaming PC that's meant to be plugged into your TV.
Okay. And so that's why they're playing it like on there and playing it on there.
Mm-hmm. And you could use it like you could use it like a regular computer or mostly gaming. It's optimized for gaming. And for me, I guess the only reason I wouldn't have it is like if I was playing 2K or something, because the 2K community on PC is kind of big. But I'm not even into 2K like that, and I don't play Fortnite. I don't play Fortnite, and in Destiny, I have my PlayStation for that because you can't play Fortnite or Destiny on it. But I'm not playing those games. So.
Cool.
All right, cool. But yeah, I'm considering this. Fearless is what I'm.
No. Yeah, it looks it's kind of cool, bro.
Because you can like.
Yeah, it doesn't. So they got the Stream Deck. They got a controller thing around here, Stream Machine, and the Stream
the VR headset.
Yeah, the VR headset.
And Steam is one of the biggest video game libraries you're going to find. Like there's hundreds of thousands of games in there, old, new, anything.
Really?
And they don't cost as much, in my experience.
Okay, so it says that the Stream hardware family officially explains in early 2026, just like Stream Decks are all optimized for gaming on Steam, and they all are designed to help players get even more out of their Steam library. Okay,
so that's what I'm looking at. So we are far afield. Okay. So what we're talking about before we got on here is we're talking about the minefield of debating on modern days and how much misinformation is out there. And the one that Fearless was talking about is the myth of what is it? The Africans selling Africans into slavery and stuff, and how that argument has been completely stripped of any nuance. And presented as a raw fact in and of itself, where there's so much nuance to it. The nuance almost disproves what's being said. That's one. Two, the concept of saying Africans, like Africa isn't a bunch of countries.
Right.
And weird generalization. That's two. And then my contention, my addition on it is, well, even if what you're saying is true, even if what the person is saying, even with the racist, because a race, I mean, I'll be honest with you, that's a racist thing to say to somebody. That's racist. That's racist on its face. It's racist when you dig into it. But
but and the reason why though is because you're broad stroking a whole entire continent, and then you're linking everything and everybody together. And when we say that, that's first off, I'm sorry for interrupting you.
That's fine.
But like it's almost like saying that you Americans, you speak English, your languages are English, Spanish, and French. And then you have Mexican drug lords who have cartels who are killing people indiscriminately in the streets. And then now an American in the US will be like, no, we don't. And then somebody else would say, yes, you do. You're all Americans. This is what you all do.
Right.
Now, what they might be talking about is Mexico, because Mexico has drug cartels, and then the people who speak French are in Canada.
Right.
Well, here's the problem with that. That's still North America. So technically they're still Americans. But do you see how that again, that nuance
Right.
of of putting or pitting everybody in one broad stroke? So when you sit and say that, well, Africans sold each other, like no, like first off, that's a continent.
Yeah.
And within the African continent, there's 54 or 55 if you count North Sudan as a country, which some people do, or whatever. But let's just say, for argument's sake, it's 54 countries, 54 African countries. That's 54 different USs inside of there. So, and that's just one country, not 54. That's one country in Africa. So if people in Colorado don't do anything near the same thing as people in New York do, why do we link everybody in America together?
Right.
So if you wouldn't do that state by state, why would you do that country by country?
Well,
So stop that shit.
well, and the term for it is a thought terminating cliche.
Mm.
It's a simple kind of trite phrase that's meant to end a conversation and shut down critical thinking. So it's kind of a semantic stop sign, if you will. And then it also utilizes heuristics, which is mental shortcuts our brains use. Okay. And so thought terminating cliches exploit heuristics. Okay. And so the debater's double burden is you got to debunk the cliche before you can debate the actual topic. And
Correct.
so the concept about this is there's a couple of things about this entire, well, Africans sold each other and the slavery thing that we got to touch on, right? Okay. One is a thought terminating cliche. It completely lacks nuance. It's meant to shut down any conversation regarding the culpability of Europe and the Americas in the triangle trade, which that's one. Okay. Two, there's a false equivalence between specific tribes in Africa participating and this entire infrastructure of a European slave trade system that was built. They weren't key components of it. They just happened to be a cog somewhere along the wheel. And you're talking about a relative handful versus millions and millions and millions and millions of Black people that were stolen and kidnapped that didn't have anything to do with other Africans. Okay. And so it does paint Africans as a monolithic identity. And it paints them as a monolithic identity that didn't exist in the 15th through 19th century. There's hundreds of distinct ethnic groups. Okay, hundreds. And so it's like saying, well, Europeans killed Europeans in World War II.
Yeah.
It's technically true, but it's reductive because you're not necessarily saying who specifically was involved in it. You're just broad stroking it. And you're acting like these weren't independent, like there was no independence of where one group was doing this and the other group was not participating in it. And so this idea that, and here my take on it is, if you're not, you ain't got no business buying people no way. What you buying people for?
Yeah.
If you came to me tomorrow, if you stopped by my house tomorrow and said, hey, Brian, I got 3 people that I'm selling, I'm going to tell you, get off my doorstep. I don't care if I got the money or not. I'm calling the cops. He's selling people, man. What are you doing? I'm not going to buy nobody. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a moral, you're moving the moral culpability of the people that literally reduced human beings' lives to tallies on a ledger.
Right. So my point of talking about this is the misinformation that we do and that we have in general. So it's not just the African thing. It's not just the American thing. It's broad stroking a whole entire argument to fit a particular narrative that without that particular nuance, your argument is going to fall apart. without stating that that if you were to say that all Americans are this, that, and the other, then what America are you talking about? Are you talking about North America? Are you talking about South America? You said, I mean, that's two different continents
Right.
that are called North and South America, right? So out of 7 continents that we have, North America, it's 2 continents. So again, whatever they're doing in Brazil, right? I mean,
Right.
that's where you see what I'm saying? So again, that just kind of bothers me of this misinformation that we just kind of spew out like it's real stuff. And
Well,
then and then people don't have the fortitude to go look it up. So stop saying this shit like it's real. If you're asking a question, that's great. Because
mhm.
then we can go find out together. But if you're stating it because you heard somebody else say it and you didn't even fact check it yourself, then you're gonna look real stupid when you're sitting there trying to pass this shit off as real information.
Well, and here's a couple of things to add some to it. One, understand that the purpose of these thought terminating cliches are to stop an argument. They're to stop a conversation. They're not meant to facilitate a conversation. They're meant to stop it. And so when you deploy one of these, it's done inherently in bad faith. You are having a bad faith argument when you apply a thought terminating cliche. You're literally just trying to shut somebody up.
Right.
Because you know that there's no nuance in that argument. You know that there's no layers to your argument. You are just trying to shut their argument down because you don't want to really have it, because you really don't have an argument. You're just trying to shut it down. That's one. Two, if we go through and talk specifically the thought terminating cliche about Africans being active participants in the European slave trade, there are documented cases of Portugal committing violent raids on coastal communities. Britain, Captain James Hawkins attacked towns, captured people by the sword. Europeans built all the infrastructure, all the forts, all the castles, all the dungeons. Okay. European demand drove everything on that side of it. If there was no demand for human traffic, for human bodies, there was no demand for it, there wouldn't have been supply.
Nope.
And so we're removing culpability from it. But the reason why people even say this kind of shit is because they're trying to stop you from having a conversation that they don't want to have.
I mean, right. And then if you think that it couldn't happen, think about the left and the right here in America. You don't think that people would sell your ass off to somebody else today if they could?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, they would sell you and your family today to the highest bidder, and that's if somebody even bid for you. You will be sold today for two Snickers and a French toast sandwich.
Right.
I mean, like, boy, your life don't mean shit to some people here in the U.S. So, and again, that's just in certain parts. So you can't say that. That's almost like saying that all of America, well, I guess that kind of is so, but that out of America, that in America, it is that majority of the people are all locked up. I mean, like out of the world's population, you guys have more people in jail or associated with the not the juvenile, but associated with the penal system than everybody else in the world.
Right.
Like, think of you. You know how crazy that is? That you are one of the smallest populations, and yet said majority of your people represent more people in prison than everybody else. That's sad.
You want to hear something else that's wild though, Fearless? And I just read this yesterday. They're talking about, and what's happening is our prison population is actually decreasing.
And cities and states are being sued.
Yeah, our prison population is actually decreasing. It's down. I think it's somewhere like 12 to 24% somewhere. I'm not quoting the exact number, but it's down. And you know who's panicking?
Prison systems.
The prison system is. And so what happens when you see a drop? Now, this is my conspiracy brain kicking on. So we have a noticeable drop in the prison system, and private prisons specifically are the ones that are complaining the most, right?
Of course.
So what do? You go ahead and you make a lot of people, you make a wide swath of people illegal so that you can detain them. What's happening right now in the streets? What are we seeing? We're seeing mass incarceration of undocumented people.
Are they throwing them in jail or are they kicking them out of the country?
They're throwing them in private prisons. They built private prisons across the country. A lot of the private prisons are now transitioning to immigration centers.
Is this an opinion or is this a fact?
This is a fact. You can look this one up.
Oh, dude.
So a lot of private prisons are either taking some of their facility or all of their facility and making them immigration facilities. That's one. And then two, we're also offshoring some of our stuff. And so some of our immigration centers are down in El Salvador or something. And those look more like concentration camps than anything else. And if you look up the definition of what a concentration camp is, you're going to know what I'm talking about. But
so what are they calling these things again? Some prisons are creating what?
Immigration centers, immigration holding centers, or whatever. They're meant to hold immigrants. So some of these private prisons are transitioning over, getting into the immigration game. So you're going to look up private prisons and then immigration. The very first thing that pops up, private prisons company enormous windfall. American Civil Liberties Union says it. Jay Powell, one of the legislators on Congress, is urging DHS to stop using private for-profit prisons for immigration.
Oh my God.
So
listen to this, brother. Listen to this. Multiple forces are driving this. Declines in traditional prison populations or some jurisdictions making existing prison infrastructures underused or idle. Underused or idle. The federal government, via ICE, expanding detention capacity for non-citizens, including reopening or repurposing prison facilities rather than building entirely new sites. Many contracts and companies' statements indicate unused facilities are being reviewed for immigration detention use. Private prison companies see immigration detention contracts as a growth area and are actively lobbying and positioning for facility conversions. Dude, what the fuck?
Whenever, and this is for our viewers that are watching, whenever you see a massive shift in law enforcement when you see a massive shift in federal law enforcement priorities, you need to look and see who's getting paid. That's the first thing you need to look at. I'm asking you to use that critical eye. Whenever you see a policy shift from a law enforcement perspective, you need to see who's getting paid, whose bottom line is being met. Right now, all this immigration stuff is propping up the private prison industry, because the private prison industry has seen a decrease over the number of years in the number of inmates that they've held. And one of the things I know about running residential facilities is the worst enemy of a residential facility is an empty bed that you're not getting a per diem on. My beds in my residential facilities, we used to have a per diem so that we would hold it for kids that were on like if we had a kid that needed a bed, we would hold a bed in case there was an emergency placement. A kid was getting out of a bad situation, they needed to place somebody. And so we were getting a per diem to keep the bed open.
So in Nebraska, minimum state security it's in Nebraska, a minimum security state facility, the McCook Work Ethic Camp has been converted or has been converted into an immigration detention site. In California, the California City Correctional Facility, previously a state prison, has been reactivated in 2025 as a large immigration detention facility. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm talking about. So when you see this kind of stuff, and the other side of it is now when we start talking about the morality of this, of a private industry that's incentivized to jail human beings at the same time while cutting costs in every single way imaginable, what do you think gets cut first? Food, basic necessities, hygiene products, all those things get slashed first. But when we talk about the morality, this is where we start seeing the thought terminating cliches start coming out. Well, they shouldn't have been here illegally. Those are the kind of things that come out. You know, well, if they would have just stayed in the country that America destabilized, because I mean that's the other side of it. If they would have stayed in the South American country that was intentionally destabilized by the United States, they'd be fine. And so we start seeing these kind of things, the thought terminating cliches pop up where it's just a quick, pithy cliche that's meant to stop any kind of conversation around the topic, because typically you're making the person you're talking to uncomfortable and they don't really have a defense. And so they'll just shut it down. So I'll throw out a couple of thought terminating cliches that we kind of see on social media. Do your own research. Let people enjoy things.
Hey, hold on. I want people to see this.
Go for it.
What I'm looking at. So I'm asking which prisons or correction companies are being publicly traded. So right now you can go to a Geo Group Inc., which is a prison correction company or whatever. Right now, at this present moment of time, their stuff sank, and then it's steadily rising back up. So you can actually invest in their stuff right now for $14.72 per share. Mm-hmm. Core Civic Institute Incorporated is also in there as well. Now they're kind of down in the red, but don't even trip. They're going to bounce back up too. So there are a number of publicly traded companies in the private correction and detention sector. Here are two more of the major ones. So these are the two major ones when you look at the when you're looking at NASDAQ and all that stuff or whatever like that. These are some of the ones, whatever. Now this used to be Corrections Corporations of America, but then they had to change their name because of all the lawsuits and all the other stuff that they had going on or whatever. But these companies are publicly traded. So they're basically making money off of other people's crimes.
Yep.
Now I want to say that again. These people need, and that's the reason why these people are suing the state right now, because they don't have enough people to throw in prisons. And I want to say that again. They don't have enough people to put in prison.
And let me add another layer of nuance to what you just said. They're not profiting off people's crimes. They're profiting off people's detention, because you can be detained without having it proven that you've committed a crime.
Oh, even more.
You're on hold.
Thank you.
You're on hold for trial. And since we've removed due process for a lot of immigrants, there are people in jail right now. They can't verify whether they're American citizens or not, because there's no due process. Due process is the thing that allows them to determine their legal status in this country. They're being held, and the private prison industry, the private prison that is holding them, has no incentive to let them go because they're getting paid to hold this person. If you want to know how dangerous that is, let's look at was it Kalief Browder? I think that's what.
Oh my God, the young man out of
in New York,
over in Rikers. I mean, that was so sad, man.
He got detained for stealing a backpack that he did not steal. They put this child in Rikers Island, and he was in admin segregation which is solitary confinement, essentially, for a young person. The reason I'm passionate about this because I had a kid on my caseload that this exact thing happened to. They put this kid in solitary confinement in Rikers Island, a child, 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
They held him there for over a year. No trial, no nothing.
No, nothing. And they kept trying to tell him to plead guilty.
Yeah. And when he finally got out, when he was finally exonerated, he got out and the mental damage was so much that he ended his own life.
Yeah. And it was actually in the middle of a lawsuit as well.
Yes.
It means that he died. Nobody collected anything. It's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. But nobody was held accountable for that young man's death.
No.
Nobody.
This child was in Rikers Island. There are adults that you wouldn't put in Rikers Island, but you'll put a baby in there. And so I had a young man on my caseload that happened to him. He is at Kearney. He ran away from Kearney. Some kid told him if you don't allow them, because when you run away from Kearney, I'm very local, guys. So if you're watching, I'm sorry, this is some Nebraska shit. If you run away from the youth center in Kearney at the time, they would hit you with the felony escape charge so that they could hold you in the Buffalo County jail where adults were. And typically the kids would get held over there for about a day or two before they would agree to go back to Kearney and stay, and then they would drop the charges. Well, my kid, somebody told him, well, if you never drop the charges, they got to let you go. No, they don't. And so this kid ran away from this youth treatment facility. And here's the thing. The only reason he was in youth treatment, the only reason he was in my services is because he literally got abandoned by his parents. And they couldn't find anywhere to put this 10-year-old, so they had to charge him with something. When he came into service, he's like 10 or 11 years old. He had been in the system since he was 8, but they couldn't hold him anywhere because they had no parents on record, and they couldn't hold him indefinitely, so they had to charge him. So they just kept charging him and putting him in different placements. This kid ended up at Kearney. He ran away from there. They put him in Buffalo County Jail, and because he refused to stay at Kearney, they held a 14-year-old child in solitary confinement for an entire summer. And there wasn't a damn thing I could do about it, except go up there, drive almost 5 hours a couple times a month to go hang out with him.
No, that's crazy.
And so when we're talking about this kind of stuff, there's a real human cost. And a lot of times when we're talking about putting people in jail, a lot of times people that are in jail, there's been no trial. They've been accused of something. There's no proven guilt or anything. They're in jail waiting for their opportunity to prove whether they're guilty or innocent. And now immigrants, they don't even get that opportunity since we've cut out a lot of the due process laws.
Yeah, I'm sitting there looking at, I don't know if you can see all
It's
the stuff I'm
cold.
looking at.
It's a cold game, bro.
But I was asking, like, how much does it cost to hold a person? And then the answer is that it depends on who's holding them. State, federal, county, or ICE, detention at what level of security that they're in. So the cost can vary. Now, check this out. State averages $80 to $150 per person, and that's anywhere from $2,400 to $4,500 per month. And the states vary from California, Nebraska, and New York, obviously. Federal prisons are $120 to $150 per day. And again, that ranges from $36 to $4,500 per month. And then higher for medical stuff, special needs. County jails, $160 to that. So it's really not that much, but it still is. Immigration detention. Check this. This is the one that people usually mean in context of private prison companies. ICE average detention costs $140 to $110 per day, which is $4,200 to $6,300 per month. Now, and again, it depends on the facility, because like I said, it can go a little bit higher, right? So some of them charge $250 to $350 per day, and then medical, bed, special management, stuff like that can be $500 per day plus more. Okay. Now, private prisons will go from, again, per diem, $75 to $200 per day. but immigration contracts often pay more. Think about this. People are contracting for your life,
Yep.
okay, for your body. So let's look at the numbers. $150 to $300 per day, depending on security level and medical staffing. They also include management fees, transportation fees, intake fees, guaranteed. Listen, watch this. Guaranteed minimum occupancy clauses.
Mm-hmm.
Now look at this, y'all. Y'all reading this shit the same time that I am. So it's not like I looked this up before you. You're seeing this in real time as I'm seeing it. Correct? So
Mm-hmm.
let's
blow it up.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, please. Or whatever, right? So again, let's look where we at. Why does it cost so much? Well, the bill includes housing, food, clothing, medical care, staff salary, which is the largest cost. So
Right.
they're cheating everybody else, but they're gonna make sure that these people get paid well to enslave another person.
Well, and
Go ahead.
peep game. So here's the thing. So the difference between the for-profit and the nonprofit side of things. When I was running my nonprofit residential facility, as a nonprofit facility, we actually had to, there was accounting where we had to spend a certain percentage on making sure that our residents were fed, cared for, had clothes, had all the resources they needed to be successful. And we went above and beyond. Like, you know, there are a couple times where I ended up spending things out of my own pocket just because to do things with my kids, you know, to make sure that my kids had stuff. And it wasn't because there was lack of money. It was just because, hey, I'll take care of it. I don't want to put this on a budget line item, right? Okay. In a private prison, when you're a for-profit residential facility, your margins are everything. I'm talking cold business right here. I'm talking cold business right here. It's the same, and the same argument happens with retirement communities. So retirement communities fall under this too. When you're talking a for-profit model, you're going to try to expand those margins wherever you can. The first thing that gets cut is food. Next thing that gets cut is hygiene products, clothing, regular upkeep on the facility. All these things get slashed so that the shareholders can get the maximum amount of value, maximum amount of money for their investment. Right. And so when we're talking about this at a large scale, talking about this at a very large scale, a private prison that is currently an immigration center in a country that is in an administration that, and this is not an opinion, is rabidly anti-immigrant, like very, very anti-immigrant, where they don't even care the conditions that immigrants have to exist in. Okay. What do you think the inside of those prisons looks like? Where there's no oversight, where there's no federal oversight. They don't even care about abuses. They don't care about who they're hiring, because the private prison, they can pretty much hire anybody. They can use their own criteria. Is there going to be a state basis for it? They have to comply with the state laws, but they can hire anybody and they don't have to report anything. We just had a major thing at one of our youth centers. I just talked about it. That was completely covered up. This is a state-run facility. What do you think happens in the private ones?
Right.
Where these private ones know if this gets reported, this can affect our contract. So we'll just sweep it under the rug, or we'll just disappear this person. We'll transfer them somewhere else, or we'll say, oh yeah, they had a medical emergency that we couldn't address. And so they passed on. We have to be very careful about this side of where we're going with this. Because again, I said at the top of it, before we started this conversation, if you look at the numbers, prison population is down over the last couple of years. Where do you think they're making up the shortfall?
I mean, dude, like when you look at the numbers here, bro, perspective scales or whatever, 1,000 detainees at $200 a day. And again, this is just 1,000. Look at the number here. That's $200,000 per day. That's $6 million per month, and that's $73 million per year. That's why detention contracts are extremely lucrative for private operators.
Yep.
So this isn't, and again, if you want more breakdown, I could break it down. Which companies get the highest per person, and again, cost for juveniles, which is much higher. Cost for solitary confinement, what ICE actually pays specific facilities near you. I mean,
Crazy.
y'all, like this. If this is what we're doing to people. Like, but and again, this is also what happens when you don't consider people.
Well, and so then we're jumping back into the thought terminating cliches now, because this is how we've just said all this stuff about how insidious all this is, right? What are the typical responses for the people that don't really want to have an uncomfortable conversation?
Oh, well, they shouldn't be here. They were here illegally.
Yeah.
They were probably criminals. That they newborn children.
Yeah.
Newborns are criminals as well. They got here illegally. They ran across the border. They were hiding here. They're criminals where they're from.
Most Americans, most people sitting in this country would not qualify to be a naturalized American citizen. They would if they had to go through the immigration system. Most Americans would not make it because it costs too much money. They may or may not be from one of the countries that's prioritized. They may not be able to wait. So the thing is, they should have come here the right way. The right way means that most of the people that do go through the immigration system do not make it here. Either they don't have the money or they will not survive where they currently are. And specifically the population we're talking about was it El Salvador and stuff that we're seeing coming up through South America. We are responsible for destabilizing a lot of these regions because we wanted access to the resources. Why do you think we're at odds with Venezuela? You know what Venezuela has? You want to know what Venezuela has?
What do they have?
Oil. They got a lot of oil.
Really?
Nigeria. We're riffing with Nigeria. We're threatening to send in troops to Nigeria. You know what Nigeria has?
Oil.
So when we say, oh, they should have come here the right way, oftentimes the right way means, think about it like this. If you were in a country and you knew that staying in this country, there was a good chance that you and your family weren't going to make it another 2 months without being captured, tortured, and killed. How long are you staying in that country?
I mean, it's like, yeah, no, you gotta go.
The next day I'm gone. I don't care what I face going to it. And understand, there's a swath of Central America that is literally impassable. You can't drive trucks through there, and it's one of the most dangerous stretches to navigate on foot in the world. And people are braving that. Either they're going around it in boats or they're trying to walk through it. They're doing that to get here. Why would they be doing that? You think it's because it's so great? It's so great scrambling for jobs and stuff when you get here? No, their lives are in danger. And so when we say they should have come here the right way, for a lot of people, and for a long time, there's a racial quota on this too. If you didn't pass the brown paper bag test, you wasn't going to get in this country. And I would imagine that they probably quietly reinstituted that racial thing, because you look at some of the prioritized countries, you're looking at like European countries and stuff like that. Okay. So when we say thought terminating cliches, we're talking about they should just come the right way. If they don't like it, they can go back. I've been told to go back to Africa multiple times just because I'm black and have an opinion online. Where am I going to go?
All right.
Y'all brought me here. Me and my family. My family was mostly through Kentucky.
Now again.
Yeah.
Which country?
Yeah. What country am I going to?
Which country are you gonna go to?
What region? Because even then, my ancestors weren't necessarily from a country; they're from a region.
Right,
that region even exist?
Within a certain country. So, what country? What region? That's almost like you should go back to America. Perfect. Which state? Are we talking about North? Are we talking about South? Well, we're in America. Just go back.
We're a nation of laws.
Where? I
Right.
would love to, but where do I go to Omaha? Do I go to California? Do I go to Mississippi? Do I go to New York? Do I go to Arkansas? Like which part of? I mean, my family comes out of out of St. Louis and California.
Hmm.
So which one? Pick
I,
one.
my family,
Perfect. But which where in California?
right.
Where in you know what I'm saying? Like there's so many nuances to this that it's kind of like, bro, y'all should shut the fuck up.
Well, and a lot of it is like, the other one I'm running down the list of thought terminating cliches regarding this immigration thing. Like, we're a nation of laws. Are those laws applied ethically? Are they evenly enforced? Even your most cynical person will tell you that the laws in this country are not applied evenly.
No, not at all.
My family did it legally, so can they. All right. So what were the immigration laws back in 1900?
Right. Yeah, they didn't have any.
Right. And were how many people from, let's just pick, let's say how many people from Sudan were allowed in the country in 1900, allowed
Right.
to legally immigrate.
I
And
mean, yeah.
considering that Texas and California was Mexico, we just decided that they're the United States.
Mhm.
Those people actually, they are on their ancestral land. They might just be returning back home.
Yeah.
We need to take care of our own first. Stops the conversation defining who our own is. Because for me, my version of our own looks different than your version of our own, and your version of our own, and your version of our own. And we're assuming that there is a limited amount of money and resources when we know there's really not in this country. It's just who has money and access to it. Okay.
Mhm.
They're taking the jobs Americans don't want. Yeah, whatever. They're taking our jobs. Okay. A lot of these are just meant to stop a conversation. That's what the concept is. A thought terminating cliche. It's meant to stop your thought right here. It's a cliche that stops you from talking and engaging. And so let's jump down to
See, now, hold on though. But here's the thing. Maybe that's what it is on from their side of things. But then what happens if you know that that's not necessarily the case? So you say, well, what do you mean by that? And then it was like, like we have here, we have to protect our borders. Okay, perfect. So this ends the discussion by invoking security rather than explaining the policies and outcomes of humanitarian realities, right? So we can talk about these things, we can discuss them. Perfect. Okay, I love that idea.
Mhm.
But if I say that and I'm just trying to get this conversation to stop, technically I shouldn't say that, or I'm betting that I can say that my fact, and you're not going to have a rebuttal for what comes out of my mouth.
You're hoping.
So then we're both sitting there and talking about something that, for the most part, neither one of us really knows. Because, like I told you before, when that was brought up to me, I'm a black dude, but I never really think about, like, I didn't really think about the nuances of in the small little statues of detail in that argument. That's like, well, hold on, what do you mean by that? Right? I thought about it later. Like, I'm like, oh, dude, like if that's ever brought up to me again, I'm gonna destroy the next person that said something like that.
Mhm.
Because again, like I told you before, this isn't one of those conversations that you just stop at, well, Africans did this, because yeah, it is true. But again, though, which country are you talking about? It's not, you're broad stroking the whole continent, and you're looping it into one whole country, which it is not
Right.
whatsoever. It's 54 different Americas
Right.
in that one continent
With its own history.
with its own history. And here's the thing, America, I mean, we have 50 states. Every one of our states has its own history, has its own story. And everybody has infighting within every single one of those 50 states. So if we don't get along with each other, and the people in Nebraska don't get along with the people in Iowa, the people in Nebraska don't get along with the people in Nebraska, you trying to tell me that everybody in Africa are going to get along with each other? Most of them have never heard of each other. They may understand that there's 54 different countries, but that's it. When I talk to some dudes from Africa, they're like, number one, I've never seen a lion before. I've never seen a tiger before. Y'all think Africa's a zoo. I ain't never seen any of this, which led me to believe that how many people live in America who've never seen Statue of Liberty?
Right.
I've never seen it. I've never seen the Hollywood sign either. Never seen it. And I live in this country. I've never seen it. I've never seen the Grand Canyon. I've never seen the Niagara Falls. All these things are in this country, and I've never seen it.
Well, peep game. So we talk about Africa. People think Africa is just like just a big jungle or whatnot. Lagos, Nigeria is bigger than New York City. It has a bigger population.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The estimates have, New York City's population is estimated to be around 20 million. And I'm not even going to read the AI one. I'm not reading the AI response. I'll go get the actual numbers. But Lagos, Nigeria, if I'm not mistaken, has a larger population than New York City. Like,
I mean, right, but bro, can I say something real fast?
Yeah.
No, go ahead, go. I'm gonna show y'all.
It's what I'm saying. Well, now and that's what I'm saying. It depends on what numbers we're looking at, because if you go to Wikipedia, they're lowballing it. But if you go on the online version, they're saying, well, Lagos, Nigeria is bigger than New York City. This is why we check sources here, because they're saying Lagos, Nigeria can anywhere between 15.4 million to 23 million people. That's a pretty big variation. And New York's population is around 20 million people. But what we're saying is, when you make the assumption that Africa is just jungles and all this other stuff, there's a good chance that the main city in Nigeria is bigger than the city that you live in.
Yeah. I mean, so look at this. So the population of Africa is approximately 1.5 billion. Right. 1.5 billion. So let me explain to you guys just how big this is. There's how many people do we have in the U.S.? Like, let's say
380 million. I think it's 380 some odd million.
No, it's not even that. Not even close. Hold on. 140.
Okay.
So you're about 40 million off. So again, this is how many people we have in the U.S., right? So that means that Africa has 1, 2, 3. They have 3 or 4 times more people in Africa than we do here in the U.S. That means that you can fit the United States in Africa and then double the amount of people that you have, and it still wouldn't be as many people as Africa has.
Right.
And it still wouldn't be as vast as Africa is. So yeah, it's easy to be like, yeah, all these people stole millions of people, because we already had billions of people over there.
Let me show you something real quick.
It was hundreds of millions at that particular time. Go ahead.
I need to pop this up on the screen because people don't quite understand this.
Go ahead.
So this is a website called True Size Of. I need to get these things off.
Oh yeah. I love that.
So True Size Of actually shows the actual size of countries. Okay. I want y'all to see this. Africa, I can just about fit China, India, and the United States in pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
That's how big Africa is. Look at this. That's how big Africa is. Okay.
And okay, hold on. I want to make that bigger, man. That's beautiful. Okay.
You blow it up. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
when we
did.
talk about when we use general terms about what goes on in Africa and the history of Africa and whatnot, you're talking about a country that dwarfs the United States. It,
Yeah.
it dwarfs the United States. There are
Wow.
there are countries in Africa that are almost as big as the United States. Okay. Now let's look at a country like let's go down to Brazil. You could almost fit the United States entirely in Brazil.
Hmm.
We talk about these other countries and stuff, and we use these broad brushstrokes because of the United States. We're used to thinking a homogenous American identity, even though we all live in different states and we know different states have different cultures and different
What?
customs and
What is
everything.
this called?
This website,
Yeah.
the true size of. That's what I type in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Now let's look at now let's take we'll move United States out of there. Let's talk about Europe,
That's
right?
crazy.
Let's talk about Europe. And the reason why this site exists is because there's a bias in map making, right? Did I spell? I know I didn't spell that wrong.
Man, that is insane.
So when we're talking about
And again, and the thing that I like about this is that they're showing you countries that like China has. Now, what is it now? They have a billion population as well.
mhm,
India has a billion population as well, and you can fit all of these individuals in there and still have room left over in China. I mean,
right,
Africa. That's how big Africa is in general.
right.
Oh my God.
So
What?
this
Stop talking. What?
and so we'll clear the map. But if you start like when you start taking the true size of these countries, the United States is small. Like it looks like it's the same size, but in real life, the United States is really kind of it's a small country
That part.
compared to Africa. You know, Alaska is almost as big as the United States.
So yeah. So I want you guys to look at this too. What is considered North America? North America is considered Canada, United States, Mexico, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Cuba, Puerto Rico. That is considered North America. So that means that when people talk about the Mexican cartels, they're technically Americans.
Mhm.
So again, if you were to sit there and be like, yeah, the Americans just killed a whole family last night, how would you feel if somebody said that about us all the time? That these other dudes did something, and you know what I'm saying? In technically in America, but they did something somewhere else. You're gonna be like, oh man, that ain't got nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does, because they're still Americans.
And look at it. I literally took France and dropped it in Algeria. And France controlled Algeria, if I'm not mistaken. Look at the size of Algeria versus France.
Yeah.
Like we assume that these countries are a lot bigger. They used to be able to where you could just say, give me Europe, and it would do Europe. But I don't know why they won't let me do Europe anymore. Because I used to be able to take Europe and compare it against Africa. But China, when we pull at China, we take China. That's how much bigger China is than all of Europe.
Right.
And
but then when you put it into Africa, it's like, what? Please, man, get that out of here.
you want to see the one that really bends your mind is Russia.
Give it to me.
You see how big Russia looks?
Oh wow, yeah.
So
No.
yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
So Russia looks absolutely humongous.
Right. Because of the way the globe is. But
My
you
dude,
bring it.
how do you do that? How
What?
do you bring it where how are you clicking on it and it's just
So I'm putting the name of the country in. So I'll say, give me a country here. Brazil, right?
Okay, so I got Japan. Where's Japan? Okay.
Okay.
Oh wow, Japan is tiny.
Yep. But you type in Brazil. Let's take Brazil to the United States, right? You watching? Do you see
Brazil,
that?
yes,
You see that?
that is huge.
You're right. And then we take Brazil over to Africa. Brazil's a big ass country.
Brazil's humongous.
But you wouldn't think that because you would think that Brazil is
You
just
would think
smaller.
that Brazil is a really small, little, impactful, small little country.
Right. Brazil, outside of Africa, Brazil has the highest population. I think it has the highest population of black people in the world
I
outside
can
of
see
Africa.
that, and I
But
never thought it was that big.
right. So what we're saying is this. Our perception of the world is a lot of times is filtered by how we see things. The world's a lot bigger than what we see it as. Africa is all of these countries that you see here. It's not just the homunculus of Africa. So the people in Tunisia wouldn't have any idea what the people in Angola are doing.
Correct.
They might never see an Angolan.
He said they may not have even seen one.
They definitely
That's
sure as
funny.
hell don't speak the same languages.
That part, no.
And so when we talk about slavery and stuff like that, you're talking about kind of just this part of Africa right here. Can you see my cursor? You're seeing
Yeah.
kind of the west coast of Africa. Okay.
Mhm.
And so, and I've read the etymology on this. More times than not, black people are going to be descended from any of these countries that are along the coastline.
I mean, yeah, that would be a lot easier because you're not grabbing. I mean, and again, even when you look into the DRC, Dominican, what is it, Republic of
Congo.
Congo, again, it's right off. It's right off the. It's right off the ocean.
Right.
So again, when what's homeboy's name? What's homeboy that went there? Portugal. No, what was King Leopold? Where was he from?
He was from Belgium.
Belgium.
Let me put in Belgium.
Yeah, but yeah, where's Belgium at?
There's Belgium.
Where's
So
Belgium? Hold on, where's it at?
You see, you should look on the screen. It's that little green blip.
That's so crazy that little ass country, that little ass dude, Belgium. I know. I'm just looking at where did you find Belgium at?
I just typed in Belgium.
Oh, damn, okay. I know, but you had to find it from somewhere, didn't you?
Yeah, it's in Europe.
Europe.
So
Okay, hold on.
yep, it's right north of France.
Okay, France, north. Okay, north is up.
Yep. So it borders France and Germany.
Okay, you said up though, right? So that's United Kingdom. That's Denmark.
You're going to have to zoom in a little bit because Belgium's so small, you're not going to see the name if you're zoomed out.
Oh wow, I'm looking right at it. That's great. What? So they little bitch asses went all the way around there, and then wow, dude,
Right.
just to go start trouble with somebody who ain't got nothing to do with you.
Right. Because diamonds to extract the wealth. And then people that live there, they ain't thinking about them diamonds because the diamonds grow there. Like it's like you live in a tomato garden. Your house is surrounded by tomatoes. Them tomatoes don't mean nothing to you.
That's crazy.
You know, but for Europeans, they decided, well, these diamonds are worth coming here and killing these folk and maiming them and enslaving them.
Look how big Molly is. God damn.
So, guys, what we're saying, if you stuck with us this long, what we're saying is our vantage point in the world is very limited. And a lot of times these debates that you find online, a lot of times they're counterfactual. They don't really contain many facts in them. But then you also, when you start dealing in fact and start speaking factual information, that's where you run into the thought terminating cliches where somebody will just say something short, pithy, and wrong to try to stop the conversation because either they don't have the facts or they just want the conversation in because it's uncomfortable. And they would have to make some damning admissions about themselves. And it's not like no, it's not like it's only one side that does it. We all do the thought terminating cliches.
Yeah, we all do.
Parents do them all the time. I do them with my kids. Fearless, you've probably done it. Just like, okay, I want this conversation right now because I said so, man.
Right.
I don't feel like litigating taking the trash out, bro. Take the trash out. I asked you to take the trash out. Take the trash out. We ain't gonna litigate this, man. It was the agreement when you were. It was the agreement. The fact that you filled up the trash can and you need to take it out of here. I'm not gonna litigate this. When we say because I said so, which I actively try to avoid saying to my kids. I do. But sometimes you throw in that thought terminating cliches because I don't want to argue with you about this.
Right.
I don't feel like arguing with you about it. It is because I said it is.
Mm-hmm.
My focus is jacked up.
So yeah, okay, so Germany's up here. So they went from Germany and they went all the way down here to Argentina.
Mm-hmm. So let's go through here real quick, and then we can start our signing off stuff, and let's plug.
Yeah, let's go.
How to recognize a thought term and cliche in action. It ends the conversation rather than advancing it. It sounds wise, but provides no actual reasoning. Easily memorized and repeated. Feels satisfying to say, like you're putting some finality on the statement. Relieves cognitive dissonance for the speaker. Dismisses complexity with oversimplification. Shuts down further inquiry. And used to avoid engaging with specific arguments or evidence. Those are thought terminating cliches. You see them all the time in conversation online specifically. People will even jump into a thread of conversation that is happening between other parties and throw out a thought terminating cliche.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand the purpose of it. The conversation was happening without you. You're jumping in to try to stop it. But the conversation would have continued without your knowledge anyway. We don't need your permission to have this conversation.
Right.
But we see them all the time. And so that's what we're talking about. And a lot of times when we're talking about misinformation always comes bundled with a thought terminating cliche because they'll say something that's wrong and then throw a thought terminating cliche in so that you don't have to dig into it. Ergo, the slavery, Africans sold each other into slavery. And then that's a thought terminating cliche in and of itself because they're saying we don't want to talk about the triangle slave trade in this country and how there was nothing like it ever in the history, in the theater of the world. Nobody, the entire institution of slavery, nobody had ever seen anything like chattel slavery in the United States.
No, I mean, even with
it's an uncomparable system.
No. And then, and again, it's still a system in place specifically for that. I mean, again, going back to your question of, 850 credit score versus everything else. Again, I have an 830 credit score, but that doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I could tell you, again, I could buy whatever I want, but again, without the cashola that goes along with that, that credit score don't mean a goddamn thing. Nothing.
Well, okay, I'll throw this.
Nothing. Shit, matter of fact, here's the thing. I don't want people thinking I'm lying about anything. I believe that whatever comes out your mouth, you should be able to show and prove everything that you're discussing. Everything. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Give me one.
All right.
Give me 1 sec. Let me show you this.
And I had a thought that just escaped me. But it was about thought term and cliche. It was going to be awesome. And I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. Okay. Here, can I?
Go for it.
I don't know. Can y'all hold on? Nope, because this is going to.
Camera's not focusing on it.
Yeah, the camera's not going to focus. And I got that thing on or whatever. So it's just going to do the thing. So here, this is what I'll do. Watch this. I'll just. Here. Boom, boom, boom. Hold on. Camera. Okay, where's my. God, I hate this camera sometimes. Okay, here we go. What are we doing? We are going to. What are we doing? Okay, we're going to put it up there. Get it on my little computer. Okay, sending it. Thank you. Pop. Double click. Okay, there we are. I'll put it over here. I'll minimize these. Give me one sec, people. Let me show you.
Okay.
Hold, please. Screen share, true size, window. Bam, here we go. That is my credit score. Okay, see, so and I'm telling you, like right now, that having that credit score means absolutely buckets. It don't mean shit. It just means what it tells people is that I pay my bills on time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it tells you, that I pay my bills on time. Okay, that's what it says to you, right? But it does now. Does it say anything else? No, not whatsoever. No.
And that's what, and the idea of it is, again, when we see the misinformation, people throw it out there so that they don't have to have the conversation. Realistically, it's about not having the conversation, because it's something they're basically trying to prevent you from discussing a thing that they are not equipped to discuss with you, in whether they're not emotionally, intellectually, time wise, whatever. It's literally just a pithy little statement you throw out there to shut all the other stuff down. And so people can use any number of things to be thought terminating cliches. We're talking about the misinformation side of social media.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of reinforced because we speak in sound bites, we speak in memes, we communicate in thought terminating cliches a lot on social media. And so debates are kind of cooked on this platform. It's really interesting to see people that have these TikTok channels, because you can tune into TikTok live and literally argue with people. And it's really interesting to see how now we are actually having people dial in and argue with folks on these things. And you see how rapid fire some of these thought terminating cliches come out. And some of the better debaters just power straight through them. They'll mute somebody and say, you're trying to shut the conversation down, so I'm gonna mute you and I'm gonna say what I need to say.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we got, guys. I had an incredible thought about this stuff and it completely escaped me. So we're going to go ahead and move on. So what we have here is up at the top, guys. I think this is mine. I have a stand store. Fearless has a stand store. We still have not figured out how to put both of these on the screen at the same time.
Is this one yours?
Yep. This one's mine. This stand store, it's all my marketing tools. And so I'll click on it if I can get it to open up, just so you guys could see what I have in store for there. I'm shutting down my marketing agency to teach y'all how to create content and market yourselves. And the reason why I'm taking that stance, that kind of extreme stance, is if I keep my marketing agency open, then I start taking all kinds of other work. And I don't want to take all kinds of other work. I want to teach y'all how to do this stuff yourself, because I see more value in showing you how to market yourself and how to record your own content. And so right now I have my school community up and running. If you want to learn how to record yourself for business and learn some copywriting stuff, there's some tools in there to help you figure out what content you need to create and all kinds of other stuff. It's in my school. It's in my paid school community. But I'm going to show you what's in my stand store here. And then Fearless, I'm going to show you here in a second.
All right. Sorry, I'm trying to shut the shit off.
All right. There we go. So this is my stand store. I have a 5-minute video scripting system. Basically, it's a template that lays out all the video scripting.
Oh, nice. Okay, I like that.
In there. I have my basic content, the Cash Machine course, which gives you the basics of video, audio, and lighting. I have a tool that allows you to help figure out the right platform. This weekend, I built a tool that helps you generate your own content. And so I'm going to be posting a link for that. Then you can get my complete toolkit that has all my copywriting templates here. If you want to just touch base with me, sit down so I can go through your social media and figure out if it aligns with the message you're making. I have one-on-one time for a quick clarity audit. And if you really want to dive all the way in and book me out for an entire day, I have that available too. Plus, we have the content, the Cash Machine school community, where it's a community with business owners in it that are creating content for themselves. And you'll get direct access to me. I can help you through the pathway. Like I said, it's not about Hollywood beauty and stuff like that. Sometimes it's about turning on the camera and recording what you got.
Yeah, that's it, man. I'm just saying, man. I've been hearing about your boy Alex Hormozi, man. And people are not letting that comment go with
That was a
him,
weird.
with him talking about that stuff, whatever. Which I'm not gonna lie to you, like I understand where he was coming from, like in general. I just think that there's a certain time and place to say stuff like that, and that wasn't it. Because, let me explain what I'm talking about. Me growing up, I've been around kids my age at that particular age who were into much older dudes.
Mm-hmm.
I know females now that are in their 20s that are into much older dudes, and then they have siblings that are pretty young that are into much older dudes or whatever. So I understand what people are like. It's creepy as shit, just in general, that you would even find them attracted for y'all to even be having a conversation, period,
Right.
off top. So like I get that. But when you a grown man, bro, I don't what do you have? What do you have to talk to a 12 or a 13 or a 14-year-old girl about? Like, what do y'all have in common? Besides
Nothing.
you're both humans and
Nothing.
you breathe and you eat. There's nothing that a grown man would have in common with a child.
There
Besides
shouldn't be anything.
besides the basic organics of life. And even then, that's not enough to have a to talk any more than 5 minutes about that particular thing. There's no more conversation with that. I mean, hell, I have a goddaughter who lives directly next door, and I don't have much to talk to her about. And she's 14. I don't really know what else to say. I know what to say to my kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to say to her. I'm like, hey, how's everything going? It's going all right. You good at math? Yeah, kind of. Will you come over and help me and Caden to do our stuff? Because I suck at math, this, that, and the other. So if we could talk about that, that's great. But there's no other conversation I can have with her. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that I wouldn't want to have a better relationship with her, because I mean, she's amazing. I just don't know what else to talk about.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I think as and the nuance I'll add to it, and these are people that I despise. I'm be honest with you. But
off top,
he's using talking points that Matt Walsh and I think Ben Shapiro, and some of these other right wing guys have used.
Still, bro, he should shut his mouth.
And he shouldn't. Like I said, that's what I'm saying.
Like if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But like I told.
Don't say weird shit.
Elon, shut the fuck up and build my car, bro.
Yeah.
I don't need to know your opinion on nothing.
And that's why I'm saying these
Keep your mouth shut.
These are comments from people that I despise. And so I inherently don't agree with it. And it was a weird thing to say. But I think what happens is sometimes people, and I've seen it, it's the Joe Rogan effect, where a motherfucker will get on a podcast and instantly they start smelling their own farts, and they will say something that they think sounds really super intelligent. And the rest of us are out there like, what the fuck did you just say? And I think it's one of those situations.
Bringing it up. I just saw it again this morning. Like, yeah, like I know what he's about to say. And I hear what he's saying. Because again, I know I'm 46 years old. And when I was young, like I knew 13, 14, 15-year-old girls that was messing with grown ass men. I knew them. So again,
now, one of my girlfriends, one of my high school girlfriends almost got me killed behind that, because she was my age. Her boyfriend that she didn't tell me was her boyfriend, and apparently she didn't tell me that she had broken up with him, was like 27 years old.
Off top.
And this dude was in a gang, and so I was getting tailed around the city. And one day she go, "Oh, don't come around here." What? Yeah, you can't. Be careful, such and such. Who are these people that you're talking about?
Right.
Well, apparently it was her ex-boyfriend. Her ex-boyfriend didn't know he's an ex-boyfriend. And so here I am, 17 years old, with a 27, 28-year-old dude trying to fight me over another 17-year-old.
That part.
And so I understand it.
That part.
And
Yeah.
I've said it on my podcast that when I was coming up, here's the thing. I am almost anywhere between 6 to 18 months younger than everybody I graduated with, because I started school early. I skipped a grade when I came in. And so and from a maturity standpoint, I was 2 years younger than everybody. Like I was in 7th and 8th grade still playing with toys. Like I was like I was like a 6th grader.
I got you.
Dead serious. And so for me coming up through school and stuff, I was already like younger mind, and I still thought it was weird. I felt what was weird when I was a freshman in college. One of my homegirls who was my age, but she was graduating from high school. I was a freshman in college. She was a senior in high school. I ended up taking her to prom. I felt weird about that. And we're the exact, we were like a couple weeks away from each other. Like it was dead serious. And so I'm already weirded out. I'm weirded out by the dudes. Like we used to joke about these old grown men that used to hang around high school and pick up high school girls and have high school girlfriends and stuff. I thought it was weird. So when I talk about it, it is weird. For me, when I look at it, when I'm looking at the context of it, it was one of them things where he's sitting around here thinking he's smarter than he is, and he said something. He probably should even call the people that released that podcast and say, hey man, you need to edit that out. That sounds crazy. I listened to what I said, and there's no way that anybody's gonna take what I said the way I intended it. Take this off of here. I sound crazy.
I sound crazy. And not only that though, bro, but like here's the thing. If you're selling something, if you're selling your system, bro, shut the fuck up. Get your money, get your stuff, and then get to a place where I could care less whether you buy this or not. Like I don't care. And if you feel the need to talk more about how you actually feel about this, that, and the other, be my guest. Go and do whatever.
Don't.
But if you're selling stuff, bro, you should probably keep your mouth shut. Well, if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. But keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut when it comes to areas like that, bro. Shut the fuck up.
Well,
and nobody told him.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like I hope that somebody was like, "Hey, bro, I'm probably gonna cut that out," and then I hope he wasn't like, "Man, why? No, don't cut that out. Keep that in there."
I'm thinking what happened is you get past it, and you smelling your own farts, and it comes out, and you're like, "Oh God, I can't believe I let that one slide."
Right, and then the fact that he's like, "That's not really traumatizing." 200 years ago, how the fuck do you know that wasn't traumatizing to these individuals?
Well, and there's a whole thing about
how do you know?
There's a whole thing about being descended from the Iranian Shah and all kinds of other weirdness that goes on. That historically, yeah, that's what the entire thing is. I don't want to get too far into it, but there's different ideas about that when you are related to royal lineages, because there's a lot of intermarrying and weird shit that goes on in these royal families.
No, it's like, oh no, it's okay. That people are gonna be fine with it. Nah, we're good.
No,
I mean it's kind of like the story of Noah's Ark, right? I think there's like what 7 or 8 people, like they all got to be banging each other, because according to that, ain't nobody else left.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So when we talk about,
and then if you read a couple more passages a little bit further down, your God saying that incest is an abomination and this and the other. Well, bro, if you wipe everybody off the earth, how else are you gonna repopulate unless you're repopulating in other places?
Well, I think what happens is, because this goes into a deeper conversation here.
Right, sure.
The conversation that we're having is something that is wrong today through the lens of history, is it wrong back then? And as a Black person, I'm going to say yes, because typically that is used as a rationalization to rationalize slavery in America.
Yeah.
Well, that's just a sign. That's what they were doing at the time in the country. You can't hold them accountable. Well, actually I can, because here, this person were willing to spill blood about ending slavery. So apparently they took it that seriously. There was a moral argument for it.
Keep talking. Keep talking.
And so I don't necessarily believe that, but there is this weird, and I don't know, I don't want to necessarily attribute it to right wing, but that's typically where I hear that conversation, where we try to take horrors of history and try to distill them through, well, I mean, that's just what they were doing at the time. You need to understand that. No, the fuck I don't. I don't need to understand what's wrong now is wrong then. But there are people that do that. And that's what I think the rabbit hole that he went down, because I think it is a very right-wing kind of thing, because they do it with the destruction and genocide against Native Americans too. Well, you just need to understand what Andrew Jackson, how he was thinking about and what the country was. No, I don't. Right. Because people who lived during Andrew Jackson's time thought that he is a vile and reprehensible human being. Mm-hmm. They thought he is contemptible. They thought he's an awful person because of what he was doing. So, you're saying, well, this was right back then, but here it is not. I don't necessarily believe that, and so, but I feel like that is kind of a right-wing talking point, especially when we talk about revisionist history.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if it was just, if we're looking at it like, well, American slavery was just a product of its time, then how do you explain John Brown? How do you explain all these abolitionists that were willing to lay down and die alongside formerly enslaved people and spill blood to end the institution? How do you explain the support that was going to some of these maroon communities where, these are escaped slave communities in South Carolina and stuff, where they were literally raiding plantations? If it was just all right with everybody and just how things were, they wouldn't be raiding no plantations and liberating enslaved people. Mm-hmm. And so when we have these conversations, I think we remove the nuance so that the person that would have been in the seat of the transgressor or the oppressor, it sanitizes the action of what they're trying to defend. I hope that made sense.
No. Okay. So what I want to do right quick, I want to show you guys something. Everything you just said. So this right here is called the Negro Bible. Okay. I want to make sure that you guys see this here for those who are watching from another standpoint. This right here is called the Negro Bible. And I'm gonna read something to you real fast. So, servants, be obedient to them that are your masters. In their attempt to eliminate all verses that could plant the seed of a rebellion in the minds of the slaves, about 90%, hear me, about 90% of the Old Testament and 50% of the New Testament was deleted. In the Standard Protestant Bible, there are 89 chapters, but the Bible given to slaves contained only 232 chapters. Absent from that Bible were olive palms, which express hope that God delivers people from oppression, and the entire book of Revelations. In the slave Bible, the book of Exodus excludes the story of rescue of the Israelites from slavery in Egypt, which is the story that gives the biblical book its title, right? The Bible, right? Mm-hmm. But the Bible also includes Exodus chapter 19 and 20, where God appeared on the mountain and gave his laws, the 10 commandments, or whatever. So there were certain things that they left in there intentionally. But again, out of 1,100 chapters, the slaves were only given 232. So right. Let me explain to you when people say that, well, that's what they were doing then. They knew what they were doing then was wrong.
Right.
Because if that was okay, you'd have gave them the whole entire Bible. You wouldn't have split shit in half. You wouldn't have needed to. Exactly. If God said this was right, if God said that accept your lot in life, give him the book. We ain't changing nothing. Here you go. Take it. But the fact that you took out so much information, 90% of the Old Testament, think about that, 90% of the Old Testament, 50% of the New. Come on, dude. Like, then, so you knew you were wrong. Mm-hmm. You knew that was wrong. Like I said, you there would be no such thing as a slave Bible. It'd just be the Bible, and that's it. Now, unfortunately, for people like me who love to read, I have I have multiple sets of Bibles, and I don't just mean King James. I'm also talking about the Tinsdale Bible. I'm talking about the one that was actually used in order to write the King James version. I have about five. I think I have 5 or 6 different sets of Bibles. I even have the
Dakota
Ethiopian.
Hammurabi. I
Like,
think
come
that's
on, man. I even got, matter of fact, shit. I could tell you. I could show you. Can't stop. Everything up above me right there is all philosophy and religion. Here's another one: the complete Ethiopian Bible, which you know what this one has? This one has all of the book of who was the Metatron,
I
Miss
don't know
Miss
that.
Anya? Who was the Metatron?
Mesopotamia.
Enoch.
Enoch.
Yep.
He was once a normal man.
Yes, he was once a normal man.
God
Even
killed him.
even my good buddy over here, Anya, will tell you that that's what that was.
God
So
killed him.
the book of Enoch is in there. The book of Enoch isn't in any King James version because it was what was it? It was it was cut out. They
Yep.
didn't put
Omitted.
it was omitted in that particular book. Now think about it. You can't have the Bible without having the book of Enoch in it. You can't have it. Like it doesn't make any sense. When you put the book of Enoch in there, read the book, read those 4 books. Read the 4 books of Enoch, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The books are amazing. I love them personally, and I've read all 4. But here you go, bam! I'm just telling you, this is an amazing book in general, and it has all that stuff in there. Yeah. So again, I'm one of those guys who loves to read. So again, when you come to me and you say certain things that I either can't go prove for myself, here's my thing: if you can't show me what you're talking about, show me, not tell me. Show me what you're talking about. For the most part, I'm not gonna believe this shit that comes out your mouth. I mean, I'm just gonna look
Yeah.
at it as an opinion.
Right.
Now, again, everything I'm telling you, here's the book. Okay, here's the book. So when people say that, well, you can't justify, you can't say that what they did back then was wrong because that's just what they were doing. There would be no slave Bible. There wouldn't be that. You wouldn't need to. Matter of fact, that you wouldn't need to hide. You wouldn't need to omit anything. You wouldn't need to distract anything or redact any. You wouldn't have to do any of that.
Right.
Give us the book, and then that's it. Right? You wouldn't. Here's another thing: if everything were free and y'all was better than us, there would be no such thing as the civil rights movement.
Right.
Because you're better than me. There would be no reason that for redlining because you're better than me. There's no reason for a home loan because you're better than me. There's no reason to destroy some other person if God said you were better than me. There's nothing I can do if you were better than me to uphinge you. If we were playing a game of Monopoly and God just kept giving you the money and land, there's nothing I can do about that, right?
Right.
So then why would you make laws that would make sure that I stayed a 5th and 6th class citizen?
Yeah.
Just saying.
And
So again, you can save that bullshit for somebody else.
right. The idea that moral, like there's a time limit on what's considered moral and immoral.
I'm just saying, look at these books. I'm telling you, get this book. Get this. I mean, just so you know how people actually feel about you. You know, and here's the thing: this isn't Black history. This is American history. anything that happens on these lands is for everybody history, man. Everybody. So we can either do one or two things. We can either learn and grow from it, or we can ignore it. And we've been ignoring a lot of people suffering, and that's why we are where we are today. So I'm gonna leave it there.
Right.
I love American stuff. When these white dudes came in and started doing all kinds of shit to whomever, whatever, and that's part of my history too. I don't be like when the 4th of July come along, I'm not celebrating that because technically black people weren't free. So by definition, I wouldn't celebrate that. But we still do
Right.
because we're still American. So when Juneteenth rolls around, celebrate it with us. That's your holiday just as much as it is ours. I mean, even before the government made it a federal holiday, we didn't ask them to do shit. We were celebrating that way before they came along and asked, say, hey, we're going to make this a federal holiday. Thank you, but that's not what we asked you for.
Well, we were already celebrating it.
And we were already celebrating it.
Well, and so here's the thing, y'all. Here's the thing. It's not. We've kind of gone. We've talked about a lot here.
A lot.
There's a lot in this episode.
A lot.
The takeaway we want you to understand is understand when somebody's just trying to end a conversation without actually having to engage with you. You're experiencing a thought terminating cliche, and it's one of those trite little statements that's meant to stop you from engaging. And call it out for what it is.
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Yeah, that's all they're saying.
Just say that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is getting uncomfortable for me. Can we please talk about something else?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. And more times than not, again, they're short, pithy, and wrong. The idea what Fearless is just talking about. Well, that was a long time ago. I've heard people do that with the civil rights era. I have relatives right now that I can call right now that lived through the civil rights era. They lived through segregation. So you're sitting there telling me
I call it petty. I call it pettigration.
Yeah,
because it was just petty shit.
They lived through it, but you're telling me
shit, dude.
You're talking about, well, that was 100 years ago. No, it wasn't. I got people I can call right now.
Call them.
That could tell you exactly what it was like.
Call them. Yeah, matter of fact, even the Black Panther Party. You don't think some of them still exist? Bobby Seale, one of the co-founders of it, he's still alive.
Right.
Go ask him.
And so we're trying to point out what these things look like. And so typically thought terminating cliches allow for misinformation.
Okay, go.
All right. And so what we're going to do is, because we're about almost 2.5 hours. Hello.
She's saying hi to you too, Chris. If you're watching, buddy.
We're about 2.5 hours in. We're gonna spin the block on the misinformation one. I want to continue this conversation.
Yeah, for sure. Let's hit it up next. Next Tuesday. Yeah, for sure.
Up at the top is Fearless's. I've had this up here posted.
Is that mine?
Yep, this is yours. So I'm about to switch over.
Yeah, yeah, man. If you guys want to just sit down and chop it up with a real one, hit me up, champ. Like this is who I am. This is what I do. Yeah, man. Hit me up, man.
So
this is that's my thing.
This is Fearless's answer.
I'm a life coach, philosopher, and just an all around conversationalist, man. So let's talk again. I may not. I'm. If you're calling me to talk, then more than not, I'm going to probably listen, ask some questions, and probably try to help reframe your thinking a little bit. But for the most part, man, hit me up if you just want to talk.
So call Fearless for a reframe.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Call Fearless for a reframe if you want to.
Call me.
Yeah. Call Fearless for a reframe. Call me if you want to record. And
I like that. Yeah, I like that. I love that. There it is.
And so that's what we got, guys.
That's what I was talking to Brian about last week. Is getting his thing out there about recording, man, because he's such a he's a Yoda out here when it comes to helping people get on that camera and just start recording their information. And so I really wanted to make sure that he focused on that one thing. So, but so I need to take this. Go ahead and keep going.
Yep. And so we made my first sale last week on this. and so I'm looking to make more.
Oh,
I want to
what's
get you guys
going on,
started.
Spencer?
I want to get you guys started recording. So that's all I got. We're gonna get you guys
Oh,
next
we're
week.
doing
We've been
this.
on this thing
Oh,
for a
what's that?
minute, so we're
Right
gonna
here,
go ahead and play the
yeah.
intro, and we'll check you out. Talk to you later. It's been Trial and Error, Fearless and Brian.
We're
Peace.
going-